Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of Farm Sim. We are doing this a little out of order. I do have episode 2 all recorded and ready to go. I just haven't edited it yet. But I don't know if you guys have seen the news today. Farm Sim 25 was officially released today. So we've seen a few speculations online. Giants themselves have even kind of alluded to it in the last video that they had with the two different hex colors. But finally today they have officially released it. Now this is coming on the 25th. Their release officially released that Farm Sim 25 will come out. So that's a nice little round number that they've got there. As well as it is the 25th. So couple little 25s in there. So I figured in light of keeping all of the 25s together, I would do a top 25 things that I would like to see for Farm Sim 25. Now they have released that there will be dynamic weather and terrain deformation, so I'm gonna kind of expand on that a little bit with a few of them, but in no specific order as far as importance goes, but kind of grouped in groups of 5. So we'll get this tractor started and get this thing going, and we'll get into the list of things that I want to see. And let me know down in the comments what you guys want to see with Farm Sim 25 as well. And also, I gotta extend a heart. Oh, I just knocked my tablet off the desk here. I gotta extend a heartfelt thank you to every single one of you that have watched the previous video, the start of the series, as well as my new subscribers. Thank you all. I am trying to grow this channel, and every little bit helps. So, without further ado, let's get into this. With the start of 25, things that I want to see in Farm Sim 25, I want to see precision farming as a base game option. So you can turn it on and off in the menus, just the same way that you do with seasons and do with weeds and whatnot. But I want there to be a few more things in here. First and foremost, I want to see bugs and diseases. Currently, the only thing that we spray and do tillage for is for weed control. In real life, there's also bugs and diseases that are a common problem. So it could just be as simple as one species of grasshoppers. You can go into the field, you can see them hopping around, you can see them as little specks on the crop. I would love to see some kind of implementation of bugs and diseases. Crop varieties, they've released that there's going to be dynamic weather. So with that, if you can have a long-term forecast for that year, you know it's going to be a wet year, you know it's going to be a hot year, dry year, etc. You can plant a different variety that's going to perform better based off of that forecast. So I'd like to see that. Currently there's no mods for anything that I've discussed so far. Also, better nutrients. So I kind of touched on it a little bit with like bugs and diseases and different varieties and whatnot. Right now there's only nitrogen for any kind of soil fertility. So it would be nice if we could add, at least the three most common, nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, your NPK, maybe S, and then I'd also like to see micronutrients just sold separately as kind of a fertility boost or a production boost that you could add to the crop. And then the fifth thing that I'd like to see in here is some kind of dynamic growing based off of everything that's seen here. So if you have a hot and humid year, your crop matures and grows super fast. You have super high yields. If it's a fairly dry year, say you've got to roll the role of a drought, well, maybe your crop's not going to do so well. So I'd like to see some kind of dynamic growing with that. Some kind of stunted growing or some kind of, growth boost that you can get from best nutrition, best moisture content, that kind of stuff. And that brings me on to the environment. So they've said that there is a dynamic weather system implemented. I'd like to see that expanded into just a dynamic rainfall and temperature. So you have wet years, you have dry years, you have hot years, you have cool years, that kind of thing, and anywhere in between. So there's no mods for this right now, but I think it would be great because it would allow you to to put your crop timing in a little bit better. And then as well as that, like some kind of a dynamic climate. So maps in different regions are subject to different weather patterns. That hasn't been discussed or disclosed from Giants themselves yet, but I can imagine that the East China or East Asia map that they're showing off in their trailer, which if you haven't seen, I'll have a link down in the comments, or down in the description below. I'll have a link to the official release trailer. I would like to see that the different climate for different regions all of a sudden have that crop calendar make sense, because it doesn't make sense right now. Because sometimes when a map is produced, you only have winter wheat or you only have spring wheat that you can plant, but in reality that's kind of region based and kind of just preference. I'd also like to see dynamic soil. You know, sometimes you get really sticky, tacky clay soils that you have super good traction in, but makes pulling implements like this Mendeco Storm, that would be really hard to pull in the clay. Whereas if you had a really loose loam soil, it would pull quite light. So I'd like to see something like that being put in, where different regions of the field, based off of the soil type and moisture content, right? Because if it's flooded and muddy, you're going to be slipping all over the place. I want to see tractors get stuck base game. I don't think it's that much to ask for. And that brings me on to mud and rocks. I want to see mud and rocks. I want to see traction and flotation reduced in mud. I want to see tire choice really become an important factor. Tracks versus tires, narrows versus wides, singles versus duals. I want to see that actually have an effect on gameplay as opposed to purely just being aesthetic. And now on to point number 11. I want to see a damage model for these tractors and equipment. If you run your sprayer boom into a post or a tree, I want to see that it gets bent. I want to see that if you drive your tractor into traffic, that, you know, maybe your steering alignment's bad, maybe your tire falls off, you get a flat tire. If you drive your tractor through trees, you run the risk of breaking your lights, breaking your windshield, that kind of thing. And interactable traffic, like, come on, it's 2024. I understand Giants doesn't want you interacting with traffic because they want to protect their E for everyone rating, but can we at least have traffic avoid us instead of just driving straight into the side of our tractors? I don't think it's that hard to ask for traffic to move around you if you're pinned, or, you know, even just back up and give you some room to wiggle around. And kind of expanding on the damage model a bit more here, I'd like to see a better wear mechanic, something that's not purely just time-based. I'd like to see something that's built off of the severity of work and use. Now, if you're pounding your tractor through the field, if you're running it at 100% engine load constantly, I want to see it wear faster than, say, if I had this 9 Series tractor pulling a 10-foot disc. That thing should never wear out. But if I put a little 6 Series on this thing, well, I expect it to break from that. So I'd like to see something like that put in. And as well, to expand on that with point number 14, dynamic breakdowns. I'd like to see hydraulic hoses. I'd like to see flat tires. Heck, even, battery boosts. Something a little bit more mundane. If you park a vehicle with leave lights on, I'd like to see that you have to drive another vehicle close enough to it that you have to boost it. So something to keep up on your maintenance, or else you are going to get stuck in your field for a little bit longer than you had anticipated while you're getting back with some kind of implement to fix it or running to the parts store. One other thing is I'd like to see the base game, whenever they release updates, give us a few pieces of equipment. Don't put it in as a DLC. I want to get a little extra that I don't have to get from a modder. We've got to thank our modders, because there's literally tens of thousands of mods for Farm Sim 22 already, and like everything you see on screen here is a mod. The Mendeco Storm is a mod. The John Deere Tractor is a mod. This map is a mod. A lot of the visual effects that you're seeing are also a mod. So thank you to our modding community for that. But I'd like to see the base game actually step up and give us extra content as new tractors are released here and there. and keeping up with the new equipment, I'd like to see the equipment in the sale page. You know, when you hit the P button here and you go to the sale page, I want to see this equipment. I want to see all of that at the store, you know, quote, in person. I want to be able to walk around it. I want to see what equipment it has on it as it was sold. And, you know, I want to be able to interact with it instead of just, you know, bringing it in here and, you know, is this the way that this thing was sold? Probably not. So I'd like to see a little bit better representation on the used vehicle side, and possibly even throw in an auction every once in a while. You know, give you a chance to, you know, just random chance bet on a piece of equipment as it goes through the block. I think that would be really cool. Demo equipment, similar to leasing, but you still have the option to buy it out. You get a brand new piece of equipment delivered to you, and you get a special deal. It'd be a random chance what piece of equipment you get. And you'd have a limited time with it. You know, you could either say, you know, you have X days in game, X hours of runtime, that kind of thing, and then it has to be returned. You get a penalty for going over and stuff. I would like to see some kind of a demo brought in, as well as I'd like to see more car and truck brands. So not talking, you know, John Deere, Case, New Holland, not looking at the tractors, just looking at trucks. Base game, we have 2 trucks. We have an old truck, which is like small and kind of like a Mazda B220 or 2200, and we have a Lizard newer truck, which kind of looks like I think it's a Mitsubishi pickup truck. But I'd like to see Chevy, Ford, Dodge, you know, the big 3, because have you ever seen a North American farm without at least one of the big 3 trucks kicking around? Every farm's got a farm truck, so let's get that in part of the game. And then to expand on that a bit more, I'd like to see realistic prices for that. So just for an example, let's go look at the store and let's look at a John Deere X9, just the base game X9. That is a $1.3 million piece of equipment if I was to go down to my local John Deere dealership and apply for financing and purchase that. Here it is almost a third of the price. Like, how does this possibly make sense? It just, like, it doesn't make sense, some of the prices on here. So let's get a little bit closer. Let's go back to reality here. It is a simulator after all, not, no, it's not Farm Arcade, it's Farm Simulator. I don't know, that's just a gripe that I've had. But I'd also like to see, keeping in with the store idea, I'd like to see an interactable store building with a sales counter, a parts counter, a service counter, where you have to go to the different counters in order to get different services. And then to kind of expand on that and get into the 21st point here, is I'd like to see there be more stores. Right now, base game, there is the store. That's it. That's the only place you can buy stuff from, is the store. So you don't buy animal feed at the tractor dealership. You don't typically buy chemical at the grocery store. So let's have a few other stores that you'd have to go and get parts and pieces and supplies from. I'd also like to see there be a little bit more life in the game. I'd like to see a little bit of AI in the field every once in a while. It can be a fairly basic, dumbed down animation for the most part. It can be basic pathfinding as the field is getting progressed, because you do see that as you go in and out of the map on the screen. You can see the fields kind of being progressed if you click in and out of them at the beginning of the season. So let's throw a tractor on there. Let's throw a cultivator in there. Just something. I'd also like there to be better helpers. Right now, you're watching course play while I read off of a list. I would like to see something like this as part of base game. I'm also just now noticing that the back of the storm isn't down, but it's the AI helper. I can't adjust it while he's going. We'll just let him keep doing his thing. But I'd like to see better helpers. You know, worker B has stopped working. I'd like, you know, an explanation why. Did he run into a tree? Is he stuck? Is he finished? Is he out of fuel? Did he encounter a breakdown? pathfinding error kind of thing. Like I'd like to see that as part of the pop-up, but I would like to see a little bit better than just the straight up, straight down, back up, turn, destroy your crop actions that the basic helpers have. And keeping in with, you know, expanding on what's already here, I'd like to see a couple of missions built in. Because, you know, contracts are fine and all, you know, go harvest this field, go, you know, seed that field, that kind of thing. It's, you know, part of Farming Simulator. I get that, that's the base game. But I'd like to see, you know, your neighbor needs to go pick up parts from the store. I'd like to see, you know, your neighbor is stuck in the field, you need to go help them, kind of thing. You know, just a little bit more realistic kind of missions. I'd like to see that. And then the last and final, and again, this is in no specific order, I'd like to see some kind of a punishment system built into the game. Now, I know it's Farming Simulator. It's not, you know, GTA or anything like that with police, you know, some kind of police state. But I'd like to see there be some kind of punishment for speeding, driving the wrong way, causing an accident, damage to property, trespassing, that kind of thing. I'd like to see there be some kind of, you know, base game. You can probably turn it off if you wanted to play arcade. There should be a simulator mode and arcade mode. Maybe that's point number 26, bonus point. But I'd like to see there be some kind of a penalty system put in place here. So if you park your equipment on somebody else's property or you damage somebody else's crop, well, you got to pay for that, and maybe you get your equipment impounded. If you're speeding through town, well, maybe you get a fine for that. I know there's a mod for that one, but, you know, those are just my points. That's what I would like to see as someone who has almost 900 hours in this game. That's what I would like to see brought in for Farm Sim 25. So, if you guys agree with those, if you disagree with those, let me know down in the comments. Let's start a discussion. You know, Giants probably isn't going to see this because I'm just a, you know, small little channel with 200 and some subscribers. And again, I thank every single one of you for that. And if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Come help me out. Let's grow this channel. Let's get some more Farm Sim content. And I think we'll just keep going with this. But yeah. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like I say, it's out of order. I do have episode 2 already recorded. Everything is done. So you notice this tractor's clean, the Mandeko Storm is clean, both are fixed. I go over all of that in episode 2, so you'll have to wait for that. I'll probably have that out sometime tomorrow maybe, or maybe Thursday, we'll see. But it is the 25th as of recording this right now, so yeah. Thank you guys so much. If you enjoyed me waffling on like this, hit that like button. Let me know you liked it. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.